The pace of change today, it's really something else, isn't it? Almost a blur. And right at the center of this incredibly fast transformation, artificial intelligence, it's a story unfolding with unprecedented speed, and it's fundamentally reshaping our world. Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission here is to unpack some fascinating sources, really cut through the noise, and bring the most important insights straight to you. Today, we're diving deep into a pretty comprehensive report from May 2025. It's compiled by Bon and Dee with insights from Mary Meeker, Jay Simons, Daewon Che, and Alexander Cray. This thing offers a really detailed look at foundational AI trends, and let me tell you, it is packed with charts just soaring up and to the right. The authors even talk about playing whack-a-mole, trying to update AI data because it's all evolving so fast. You know, Vint Cerf, one of the founders of the internet, he famously said back in '99 that an internet year is like a dog year, 7 regular years. Well, this report, it makes a pretty dramatic claim. AI's user and usage trends are ramping up materially faster than the internet ever did.
Yeah, the dog ear analogy. It almost doesn't feel fast enough for AI, does it? This report, it's not just data points. It really shows how these AI models are changing what's possible at a pace that, like the source says, can genuinely outpace us. And the data inside, it supports this rapid, sweeping change across everything: technical, financial, social, physical, even geopolitical stuff. It's not just one sector. It's this universal acceleration touching pretty much every part of modern life.
That universal acceleration is really striking. Okay, so to really get our heads around the speed, let's zoom in a bit.
Yeah.
How quickly are people, everyday folks and businesses actually bringing AI into their lives and work? Are we talking months, weeks?
It's genuinely remarkable. Take ChatGPT, right? That's the obvious example. It hit 1 million users in just 5 days.
5 days. Wow.
Yeah, 5 days. And by April 2025, 800 million weekly active users. It's staggering.
It's huge.
To give you some context, think about Google search. It took Google 11 years to get to 365 billion annual searches. ChatGPT did that volume in just 2 years.
2 years versus 11. Okay.
Exactly. And compared to initial growth, say, hitting 100 million users, ChatGPT did that in 2 months. Netflix took over 10 years. The iPhone, more than 2 years. And what really makes this different from, say, the early internet era is how global it was right from the start. Simultaneous growth across most regions. It wasn't like, build up slowly in the US, then spread. It was almost instant worldwide.
Those consumer numbers are just incredible. But is this just a consumer thing, or is it hitting the professional world just as hard? What about developers, big companies? Are they jumping on board with the same speed?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely not just consumers. It's everywhere. Developer growth is exploding. That's always a key sign, right? NVIDIA's ecosystem, for instance, saw a 6x increase. 6 million developers over 7 years.
6 times.
And Google's ecosystem jumped 5x to 7 million developers just year over year. Wild growth. Then look at enterprises. AI mentions in S&P 500 earnings calls. They're soaring. It shows it's top of mind strategically. And major companies are seeing real, measurable results already. Bank of America's virtual assistant, Erica, handled over 2 billion client interactions by early 2025. That's serious volume.
2 billion. Wow.
Right. JP Morgan is aiming for huge efficiency gains with AI. And then there's this amazing example from healthcare. Kaiser Permanente rolled out an AI scribe to 10,000 doctors, and you had physicians saying things like, "It saved my marriage."
That's incredible. Saved my marriage. That's quite an endorsement for AI scribes.
It really is. It speaks volumes about
Yeah.
reducing that admin burden. It's not just saving time, it's improving quality of life. And it's not just finance and healthcare. Even Yum. Brands KFC, Pizza Hut launched Byte by Yum for optimizing their restaurants. Thousands of locations. So it really shows the diversity of adoption.
Okay, so it's everywhere, from banking to fast food, and apparently saving marriages. But beyond the stats on the corporate side, how is this changing the experience for us, for the listener? What are these AI agents doing now that's, more than just answering simple questions like the early chatbots?
Yeah, that's a great point. For individuals, usage is climbing fast, and interestingly, across all age groups in the U.S. It's not just the younger crowd. The source mentions older users using ChatGPT a lot for information, almost like a faster Google.
Like a Google replacement.
Kind of, yeah, for quick answers. While younger users, they're seeing it more like a life advisor, helping with homework, brainstorming, career stuff. And the engagement metrics back this up. Daily time spent on the ChatGPT app, up over 200% in 21 months. More sessions, longer sessions. But the really big shift, I think, is moving from basic chatbots to these more sophisticated AI agents. They're not just finding answers anymore. They're reasoning, taking action, completing complex multi-step tasks.
Okay, like what?
Well, think of Google's deep research feature. It can browse hundreds of websites, pull information together, and write up a comprehensive report in minutes, something that would take a person hours, right?
Right.
Or OpenAI has a similar deep research feature doing complex info gathering way faster. So the shift is really from just responding to actually accomplishing,
Yeah.
doing real work for you. It's like having this super efficient personal assistant ready to go.
A digital assistant that actually accomplishes things sounds powerful, but also expensive to build, surely. This kind of development, the scale, it must cost a fortune. Let's talk about the economics. We hear about massive capital spending, CapEx. Who's spending and what are they actually buying?
You're absolutely right. The spending is immense, and it's really shaping the whole landscape. The tech giants, they're pouring huge amounts of their free cash flow into AI infrastructure.
Yeah.
The big six U.S. tech companies, their CapEx grew 63% year over year in 2024. 63%.
63%. Wow.
Yeah. It's now about 15% of their revenue. That's up from just 8% a decade ago. And we're not just talking about more servers and racks. They're building what NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang calls AI factories. These are facilities purpose-built for real-time inference, running the AI and the super intensive training of new models. And companies like NVIDIA, naturally, are huge beneficiaries here. Their GPU performance improved something like 225 times in just 8 years. It's incredible. And their slice of the global data center spending pie has jumped to 25%.
A quarter of all data center spending.
Exactly. So this huge capital intensity, it does raise that question, how does this shape the market? Does it mean only the giants can play? Or are there other forces at work?
That is the key question. It sounds like a massive wall to climb for anyone new. But then there's this weird dynamic you mentioned. Training the models costs millions, maybe billions soon, but using them, the inference part is getting cheaper. How does that work?
It's this fascinating paradox, isn't it? And it's driving so much of what we see. So training that cutting-edge AI model today, over $100 million. And yeah, estimates for the next generation are $1 billion, maybe even $10 billion, just massive development costs. But once it's trained, the cost to actually run it for you and me, the inference cost, is plummeting. NVIDIA's latest Blackwell GPU, the 2024 one, it uses 105,000 times less energy per token than their 2014 version.
105,000 times less energy.
Yeah, it's an incredible leap in efficiency. And that efficiency gain is a big reason why overall inference prices have dropped about 99.7% in just 2 years.
Almost 100% cheaper in 2 years.
Pretty much. And this is like a textbook example of the Jevons paradox.
Mm-hmm.
As using AI gets ridiculously cheap, people find more and more ways to use it. Its applications just explode.
Right. Cheaper means more use, not less spending overall.
Exactly. It becomes ubiquitous. It gets embedded everywhere. And that just drives more demand for the underlying infrastructure, creating this flywheel effect. Cheaper use, drives more need for the AI factories.
Okay, so if inference is getting super cheap and AI is becoming ubiquitous, what does that do to the competition? Does it actually make it easier for new players to jump in despite the high training costs? And where does open source AI fit into this picture?
Well, the field is definitely hyper-competitive. And yeah, those dynamics create a really interesting situation. We've seen this huge surge in new large-scale AI models being released across all types: language, vision, audio, video, multimodal, all seeing triple-digit percentage growth in releases recently.
So lots of models out there.
Tons. And while the big closed-source models like ChatGPT grabbed headlines early on, the open-source alternatives, think Meta's Llama, for example, are catching up fast in terms of performance. Llama saw like 3.4 times more downloads in just 8 months.
And they're cheaper to run, presumably.
Often, yeah, or at least offer more flexibility at lower cost points.
Yeah.
And this really empowers developers. They're flocking to these open source tools. And what that does, according to the report, is it weakens the pricing power of the big incumbent model providers. It sort of levels the playing field.
Fostering an explosion of creativity, as the report says.
Precisely. It means innovation isn't just locked up in a few big labs. It's bubbling up from everywhere, from this huge decentralized community of developers using these powerful open source tools.
That's a really important shift, that explosion of creativity. But okay, with all this competition, all this innovation, and these massive training costs, let's talk brass tacks. Are these AI companies actually making money, or is it like the dot-com boom, burn cash like crazy now, figure out profits later?
It's definitely a mix right now, and yeah, that early internet analogy, it fits pretty well for some. Take OpenAI. Their revenue is estimated to have grown, get this, 1,050% annually to about $3.7 billion.
1,000% growth.
Astronomical. And other newer players like Anthropic, Perplexity,
Yeah.
they're also seeing really fast revenue growth.
Yeah.
But it comes with very high cash burn. and sky-high valuations. The report sums it up perfectly. High revenue growth plus high cash burn plus high valuations plus high investment. Good news for consumers, others, TBD.
TBD. To be determined.
Exactly. The big question hanging over the industry is, will AI turn into a commodity business? Will they keep burning cash at venture scale before they find sustainable profits? And we're seeing sort of two main ways companies are trying to make money in the enterprise space emerge. First, these horizontal platforms like Microsoft Copilot or Salesforce Agentforce, they embed AI across lots of different workflows in existing software.
Like adding an AI layer everywhere.
Right. And second, you have this really specialized software. Think AnySphere Cursor for coding help, Abridge for medical documentation, Harvey for legal work. These are growing incredibly fast by automating very specific, complex tasks in particular industries. So deep vertical integration is also proving valuable.
Okay, so huge growth, huge spending, questions about profit, but definite value emerging. Now, this level of innovation, this power, it obviously has implications way beyond business. The source flat out calls it a new space race, especially between the US and China. What does that really mean? What's the state of play there?
Yeah, that space race language, it really underscores a critical point. AI leadership could fundamentally reshape global power. It's that significant. Now, the U.S. currently dominates in terms of, say, global public market cap in tech, no question. But China is moving incredibly fast in AI. Their capabilities are gaining relevance quickly. Models like DeepSeek, Alibaba's Qwen, Baidu's Ernie, they're increasingly matching, sometimes even beating, U.S. models on performance benchmarks.
And doing it cheaper.
Often with lower training costs, yeah.
And crucially, increasingly using their own homegrown semiconductors, that reduces reliance on Western tech. China also has way more industrial robots already installed than anyone else, which is a huge base for integrating AI into manufacturing.
So they have a hardware advantage in some areas.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating, and the report highlights this, is how quickly China is responding to AI developments now. Compare that to how long it took them to really react to the internet back in, say, 1995. It's night and day.
A much faster reaction time, much faster. This rapid pivot means those traditional assumptions about tech leadership could change way faster than we think. It's not just about who builds the best model, it's about who integrates it most effectively into their economy, their military, their society. The stakes are incredibly high, geopolitically speaking.
That difference in reaction time is a really powerful point. Okay, so we've covered this lightning speed, the huge investments, the weird economics, the fierce competition, the open source surge, and now these massive geopolitical stakes. As we wrap this up, what's the big takeaway for us, for the listener, trying to make sense of this AI revolution?
Well, the source uses this really profound quote from Stephen Hawking. He said, "Success in creating AI could be the biggest event in the history of our civilization, but it could also be the last, unless we learn how to avoid the risks."
Wow. Biggest event or the last?
Exactly. It perfectly captures this dual nature, right?
Yeah.
On the one hand, AI has this incredible potential. It could free us from drudgery, speed up science to cure diseases, maybe even help fix climate change. Demis Hassabis at Google DeepMind talks about first solve AI, then use AI to solve everything else.
The ultimate problem-solving tool.
Potentially. But then there are the risks, big ones. Autonomous weapons, mass surveillance, biased algorithms making unfair decisions, huge impacts on jobs as automation spreads. The source is clear. The outcome isn't just about the tech itself. It's about how we, as a society, choose to adopt it, to govern it, to steer it. We're learning to wield this incredibly powerful force in real time.
What a deep dive. We've really seen just how fast AI is changing, well, everything. Our lives, our work, global power. It's clearly not just another tech trend. This feels fundamental, like electricity or the internet itself.
I agree. And that sense the report gives of game on, especially between the U.S. and China, with these tech giants pushing relentlessly forward. That really captures the moment. The future here is being forged by intense competition, nonstop innovation, and huge strategic bets on a global scale.
So as you digest all of this, what stands out most to you? As AI keeps weaving itself into the fabric of everything, becoming part of infrastructure, like the report says. Think about this. Will the magic of AI doing our work for us lift everyone up, a real race to the top? Or could these massive changes, this creative destruction, actually widen the gaps we already see in society? That's something to really mull over.